Why have men become weak and passive? This is a question posed by a lovely man that comments on my Facebook post. So if you're not following me there, make sure you do. There's so many insights, just even in the comment section. Now, this is a very interesting question because there's different things happening. In love and relationships, men have become weak and passive, although there's a misconception about what masculine energy is. Men that actually are masculine in their nature are confused about their identity and their role. We live in a world where we're seeing the hyper versions of these energies. So, in terms of masculinity, we're seeing dominance, control, the patriarchy. That is not the healthy masculine energy, but that is what we've seen. That is what we've been taught. So, power, control, force, manipulation, dominance, right? This is what we've seen in history, and this is what we're seeing right now. And this is what we believe is masculine energy, and it isn't. And the hyper version of the feminine energy is the woman that is passive and weak, right? So they're both the unhealthy expressions of the energy. And there's extremes of this as well. Now, in terms of love and relationships, what's happened with men is because there's this hyper masculinity going on in our society and in our world, and to no one's fault, right? This is what's going on in society right now, going on in our world, and actually the way in which masculinity has been portrayed for centuries in terms of dominance and the leadership we see is very aggressive. So this is what we've been taught is masculine energy. In order to get ahead in life, women have become very dominant as well. And so there's this idea that in order to move ahead and in order to succeed in life, you have to push forward, you have to work hard, you have to be aggressive, you have to take control. And women have also internalized these messages because this is the world that we live in. There's nothing wrong with that to a certain extent. But what tends to happen is that messaging then seeps into women, and women start behaving in a way that is inauthentic to their true essence, to their true feminine energy. And so, what happens in relationships is women will now take a very dominant role. And so, what happens with healthy masculine men is they end up taking a passive role in relationships because they don't have an opportunity to do what is natural to them. Now, healthy masculine energy is the leader, is the pursuer, is the one that courts and initiates and takes the lead in the courting process. Thing that we've seen even in nature, where the male is the one that sort of courts. And we've moved so far from that because women have decided to make things happen in their life. And so even in dating and relationships, and there's apps that even support this, like Bumble is an app where the women are the one that initiate. I completely disagree with this because that's not empowering. It's not empowering to step outside of your essence and do the man's work for you. Because what tends to happen is with healthy masculine men who desire to pursue, who desire to court, who desire to meet a woman and make her his wife, when a woman is the one that sort of takes the initiative and takes that role for him, even if he feels good with that at an egoic level, because the ego will like the attention of the opposite sex, even if it's unhealthy. The ego just wants to feel important. Even if a man likes that, deep down, because it's going against his nature and his biological instincts and drivers, what tends to happen is he will either move into that relationship unconsciously because the woman buttered him up so much that he moves into this relationship because it's convenient and then falls out of attraction. When I speak with men, what tends to happen is they meet a woman on a dating app and the woman is very aggressive and they sleep together very fast and the woman makes him feel so good. She's the one sort of courting, or she is very easy in terms of his advances. So he will set up a date and she's very eager. She'll sleep with him very soon. She'll butter him up, inflate his ego. And of course, when we're unaware, we don't know what's really going on. And so with these men, they'll tend to move into the relationship with her and have kids, or, just move into something more serious with her because they think that feels good and they think it's real. It's not real. It's lust and it's unhealthy. And after the honeymoon phase, so when both people have got each other, the woman has got him, things start to set in and it starts to not feel good anymore. So the woman, her true nature starts to show up more and more in a way that's unattractive to the man. So she's the aggressor, she's very dominant, and now the attention is no longer on him anymore because she's got him. So women are taking this role. And so what ends up happening with men is they'll be in this relationship and they're not attracted to the woman anymore and they don't want to have sex. They're not intimate with her and she'll get upset. And usually what tends to happen is there'll be infidelity at some level. Or the other situation that happens is masculine energy men are out in the world dating and won't commit to a woman because as soon as they start dating a woman and they start courting, the woman gets ahead. And these men have actually stayed true to themselves and they know innately that doesn't feel good. It goes against what they innately know, that they're the ones that are supposed to meet a woman, be attracted to her, and they're supposed to court her, and they're supposed to be a winning over process. They know this innately. And so when they're on dating apps and the women are taking this role, what tends to happen with these men is they will retract. So they will retract and they will move away from a woman as soon as they start to notice these tendencies, and they are okay with being single. They don't want to be single. They want to be in a relationship with a woman that they can put on a pedestal, and the dynamic are more of the traditional type. Now, the traditional type, when I talk about that, I don't mean that a woman that is more in her feminine energy doesn't have goals, doesn't have pursuits, isn't strong. I myself am a lawyer, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm internally strong, but in my relationship, I am very much a woman. I do not want to lead in that area at all. And so I've always attracted very masculine men. So even my partner now, he's an athlete, he's extremely masculine in his energy, and we know our roles. And I know his role and he knows my role. So in our relationship, I will let him take the lead in certain areas of our life, even if I will have an opinion. He appreciates my opinion. I'm definitely not passive. But in my relationships, I am not the aggressor. That is not attractive to me, and I'm not interested in that. And so even in the dating phase, when I was meeting men, I carried myself in a certain way because I was looking to be a wife, and I waited to get physical with a man because I wanted to see what he's made of. And any man that was pushing things forward very quickly, which is the unhealthy masculine, showing off, showing me what their accomplishments are, wanting to take me on trips, that didn't really impress me because that is the unhealthy masculine energy. That is the man that just wants the conquest. And that's not something that I'm looking for. So this is the reason why men have become more passive in love and relationships.